Our third speaker is Liam Costello. He's Acting Director Commercial and Plantations with the Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Action to talk about the Victorian Carbon Project. Welcome, Liam.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And g'day. Great to be here. There's been some great presentations. So I'm just going to give an overview of a current initiative by the department. It's a new program, the Victorian Carbon Farming Program, just explain the opportunity that might assist in leveraging, I guess, natural capital for those interested today. So the Carbon Farming Program has been released under the Victorian Climate Strategy. So it's an initiative to help the state government meet its climate commitments of net zero by 2045. It's a $15.3 million program that's being rolled out over the next 10 years. So this presentation will just touch on that opportunity today. So what is the Carbon Farming Program? To keep it simple, it really is just a grant program that's available to farmers in the North Central CMA to plant trees on their land. I think it's important to start with a simple message because the department in its various iterations have rolled out a number of different grant programs to get trees in the ground, and as in designing this program and seeking feedback, the key messages were really to keep it as simple as possible. There's a lot of considerations that farmers already need to make, not least the concept of land use change in planting trees, so to make it as simple as possible. But also to make it as flexible as possible to meet the different needs, motivations and aspirations of farmers. And also the feedback was to make sure that there's some level of ongoing support past tree planting, which often past grant programs have kind of have not provided. So that's what we've tried to do, but also navigating, I guess, the inherent administrative and technical complexity which is involved in putting these kind of programs together. So how is it different to other programs? Well, from the title, it's a carbon farming program. It's a carbon program. So we're interested in getting the trees planted, getting the trees in the ground. So in that way, we're kind of agnostic to the types of trees planting. This isn't necessarily just about biodiversity plantings. The program also supports planting of trees for timber harvesting or for other productive benefits. So that means there's real flexibility in the type of planting arrangements that can be achieved under the program. Also, though, there's a condition that the program needs to achieve needs to demonstrate the ability to produce co-benefits for farm productivity. So there's another program, the Bushbank program, you might have seen or spoken to Cassinia, who are out there in the other room. This is, I guess, the Carbon Farming Program is a sister program to that, and so this is differentiated into that program. It's less about broad-scale environmental plantings conversion. It's meant to be complementary to agriculture, so those different planting types which are integrated into the farming system. Another component or condition of the program is it needs to deliver measurable carbon abatement for a minimum of 10 years. So under the program agreement, there's a commitment to keep those trees in the ground for 10 years. And there's some conditions around the scale of plantings that they can be measurable according to the monitoring systems which are used to monitor tree planting as a carbon sequestration activity. And then finally, there's a requirement for projects or for landowners to partner with project advisors who are registered and vetted, registered with the program and vetted by the department, and to enter into partnerships with our project advisors and deliver the project over a 10-year period. And I'll speak a bit more about them in a moment. So what does a carbon farming project look like? It can look like really anything. There is, like I said, a limitation on broad-scale environmental plantings, but a project can be in various arrangements, spatial arrangements and different species. The broader conditions around it's a maximum of 100 hectares. There's a minimum of 10 hectares wide, and that's to make sure that it's observable from the national inventory process. and there are some conditions around planting density, so you reach a level of canopy cover again that can be observed through remote sensing. There are no covenants required. There's no stated minimum area for a project, but there is probably a natural minimum area that becomes feasible, but that's worked out in negotiation with the project advisors, the extent to which they can kind of make it a commercially or economically viable project. While there are no covenants, there are some conditions that and contractual obligations that the project advisors can kind of speak through, but I won't get too much into the fine print on those here today. So what's the role of the registered project advisor? So the intent here is for these guys, great organisations, great people, to do all the legwork for farmers, but to also to enter into a partnership and to kind of negotiate the extent to I guess the distribution and proportioning of activities for a project. And what I would say is each of our 4 project advisors have very different service offerings, and so they can come to different arrangements of how a project will be implemented. The project advisors are there to provide advice on planning and options and opportunities, and also for opportunities to leverage other markets. So this program doesn't require entering into carbon markets. It also doesn't preclude it. We really actually encourage leveraging of other opportunities to make a project more valuable. And I guess the genesis of this program is really under the acknowledgement that in Victoria our land sizes are a lot smaller than our general farm size are a lot smaller than those in New South Wales, Queensland and the rest of the country, which is really an impediment due to scale to entering into carbon markets. So this program is trying to kind of bridge the gap and bring back some comparative advantage to Victorian farmers to be able to potentially either generate some revenue from sequestering carbon, but also perhaps provide the gap payment, which would then allow you to enter into a project that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. The project advisors are there to kind of assist from preparation and all the way through to maintenance if there's a harvesting or thinning or silviculture on those plantings that they can be there to provide, and also a commitment to assist over the duration of the project, which is 10 years. So who are the registered project advisors? In no particular order. Firstly, the Tree Project. So Joanne from the Tree Project is here out in the other room. The Tree Project are a really community-driven organisation, and they've early in the project have really demonstrated proven success and cost effectiveness of getting projects up and going. They've got a really interesting model of growing seedlings in the community and training community to grow seedlings, and that provides some real efficiencies within their model. And they've demonstrated a real flexible approach with working with landowner motivation. So a really good offering there. Wood for Good, Ben is here from Wood for Good, is also out in the room. Feel free to have a chat to him. Wood for Good, regenerative forestry, have a regenerative forestry approach. So they're really about plantings that can generate hardwood and timber outcomes, but also provide biodiversity benefits and generate a permanent and renewable source of wood products or bioenergy that can contribute to local communities. So in their words, forestry that helps regenerate the landscape. So it's a really quite unique offering, but for those interested in generating both biodiversity benefits and timber outcomes, in whether that be from firewood or to a higher value timber saw log, they're the people to speak to. Regen Farmers Mutual, who we heard a bit about before, they've got a bit of a different approach, but also offer the full scale of planting or of project development and through to planting and preparation. They offer a service through their what they call the Regen digital platform, which, as I understand, can develop a digital twin of your farm and allows you to model different opportunities to generate value from different areas of your farm, so those natural capital elements, carbon opportunities, soil, and so on. So, and they also have an approach that advocates for landowner partnerships to seek potential aggregation. So if you're in a situation where you've got neighbours who have parcels of land and want to collaborate to generate a broader landscape impact, that's kind of where they're heading and what they'd like to do. 1 minute, okay, I've got to be quick. And Greening Australia, I think we all know what Greening Australia does, but they also provide the full service of project delivery. This is getting a bit technical, so I won't go into it, but this is how the grant works. It's modelled on the amount of carbon sequestered, and it's paid out at $25 a tonne and over a 10-year period, and that the total grant payment is then negotiated between the registered project advisor and the landowner and distributed accordingly. And so the distribution of responsibilities will, and also the scale, will determine, I guess, how much of those funds go to the landowner and the project advisor. But yeah, that's a fully flexible approach, and it's paid out over 10 years with 40% up front, 30% at the back end and 2 smaller payments in the middle. There are some conditions that reduce the amount of grant with scale up to 100 hectares, but we can have a bit more of a chat about that with the project advisors. And finally, how do I get involved? All the information is on the Agriculture Victoria website. Yeah, so what I just would encourage you, there's 4 different options with the project advisors. They each have a different service offering that might be suitable for different situations. They're really there to make this as simple as possible. So take all the kind of the legwork and the administration out of it, and to advise you on generating good outcomes. There is a statewide rollout intended for this program at the end of the year. And if you'd like to kind of keep up with updates on the program, you can register your interest. There's a register interest on the website. Put in your details. It'll ask for some information about your kind of interests and motivations in tree planting, and then you can receive updates on the program. So that is that's it. Feel free to get in touch. There's an email address for the program there. Thank you very much.